Alright, so there might be a Mother's Day vlog part 4 today, because I just ran into women in store. She have son like mine, don't want to do nothing. I gotta make my way over here to the car. I stopped in the grocery store because I want to eat. I just don't have an appetite, y'all. I'm sorry. So I was looking at the fruit and all this other stuff in there and just browsing around. Now I'm going to go over to Tractor Supply and see if they have some chickadees or ducklings left over. I so wish I could have a farm right now. Y'all don't even understand. I'm a city girl stuck in the country girl stuck in the city. This car is so beat. What the hell? I think my mother hit my car again. Well, I'm going to cover this tag for a second, but not like y'all ain't seen it before. But look at this. This was not here before. This was not here. This was here. Oh, God. You know what the nice thing about having an older car is, and this is her old car, because she's the one that did this and wants to blame it on me. I keep threatening her. I'm like, yeah, keep messing with me. I'm going to have your driving license taken away. She can't drive for nothing. That ain't even funny. I mean, I can't say for sure if that's mom, but somebody hit me. Who hit me in the back? What the hell? I like to have nice things just like everybody else, but you know what? I'm not a materialistic girl, so I'm not gonna complain if I get something and it's like, oh yeah, well, it got dented, it got scratched, it got this, it got that. Look at there! What's going on with this hair, girl? And the ghost just closed the door for me. Alright, I left my lottery ticket here. This is why I came to the grocery store. Pardon the fan. I wanted to check my lotto ticket that I have to find now because, silly me, I didn't take it in. And they just drew the lotto last night, so I could be a millionaire. And I could be singing, I woke up in a Bugatti. I would never. I'm sorry. I don't even care. If I won the Powerball and had, $700 million, I would never buy some of these things that people buy. I'm simple. Now I gotta go back in and get this lotto ticket checked. Get off me. Get off me, bro. Ooh, this is the wind. I think it's just a matter of the, well, my son, if I can tell you right now, if he won the lotto, my oldest one, man, he'd be broke. He'd be one of those stories you see on TV. Bankrupt after winning the lotto. Winning millions of dollars. Look at this brother pushing the carts. Yes. Doing it old school. That's how I used to do it. When I worked at the Air Force Base, we didn't have those electronic cart pushers. We had to push that junk. We used to hook up these little hooks and then have a long fishing line that was on a reel. And you'd have to pull that stuff. God dang, what is going on with this wind? Drag that stuff into the store. You think I'm kidding? I mean, that was some strenuous work. But anyway, regardless, I think I'm going to have to go get a real job, y'all. Now, when I say real job, please keep in mind, I'll sit down on this bench for a second because it is hot, hot, hot. Just that little walk was hot. Didn't even get my lotto ticket checked because as long as I ain't checked it yet, I'm still a winner. Keys are stuck on my shirt. It don't matter. At the age of, I believe it was 10. Now, mind you, this is going to be 1983, 84. It was not uncommon for people to hire babysitters that were literally 10 or 11 or 12 years old to watch their children. That's very scary to me now. I was a very responsible child. I was always above my age. I knew CPR. I mean, so I didn't have a problem getting a job. Question. This black lady's rolling around on this Lark scooter that I should be on. This is bright blonde hair, and you know you Palomino. You ain't no damn Palomino. Hope y'all got that. Anyway, I'm glad they put these benches here. So this is what happens in Florida, because we got a lot of elderly folks and retirees, and they put these benches so they can sit down. I'm gonna sit my happy behind on one for a minute. I'm just trying to chill, y'all. Anyway, so at the age of 11, I had, because it was there was this thing called the Bloomingdale Gazette, which is basically like your neighborhood newsletter that would come out so often. And in the very back, they would list people, like girls, that it was pretty much all girls, that were willing to babysit. So I couldn't do it at 10, but I could do it at 11. So by 11 years old, I had three regular babysitting jobs a week. And I mean regular, like you go to work Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever. Anyway, when I turned 13, I could not wait. And mind you, I'm still a full-time student, and I'm still an honor roll student, a dual honor roll student, Spanish Honor Society, National Honor Society. But I was like, I need a job. I want some money. I'm going to make me money. I'm going to make a check. Okay, so McDonald's and Domino's Pizza would not hire me until I turned 14. So as soon as I hit 14, I ran. And I mean ran. Like, I think I had a moped at that point. Maybe not. I might have biked. I don't know. I just ran my happy butt right down the street. And I was like, hire me, hire me, hire me, hire me. I'll work all the hours you want. Night, days, whatever. So I got hired at Domino's Pizza first, because that's where my friend, my girl, said she was going to get hired. This heifer turned around and worked at McDonald's. Give me a minute. I didn't realize this was a 7-minute clip. Alright, y'all, I'm back. Sorry, I got to keep cropping it up because this video program is giving me a hard time putting clips together. It'll say clips are too long. She turned her happy butt around and went to an interview at McDonald's. You're supposed to be my best friend. So I was like, oh, hunty, you ain't better than me. Because she just dropped out of school and was pregnant early. So I went over to McDonald's, was like, I heard y'all were hiring. Put in my application, they hired me. Because back in the day, the law was, and I think I said the right age at 14. Back in the day, the law was that you couldn't work more than 20 hours a week if you were 14. Overachiever syndrome. So, there go question. Palomino ass. Okay, so back in the day, the rule was you could not work over 20 hours as that age, 14, and they also had to give you a lunch, kind of like a lunch break or a break every 4 hours. So they weren't really keen to hire people at that age. Well, guess what? I got hired. So now I had 20 hours at Domino's a week making pizza. And I will just say that I was 14, 15, and grown-ass men were flirting constantly, making compliments like, girl, you built like a brick shit house. And, pardon the cursing, I'm just going to be real. They were squirting me with water bottles in my shirt, squirting me on my butt, hitting you on the butt while you're making a pizza. So yeah, you would go to jail for that kind of stuff now. They didn't do it then. Oh Lord, my childhood. It's very empowering, and it's not a good thing, but When you're a young woman, you don't realize that it's inappropriate. You just think of it as, I have this power over grown men, because these men were drivers for the pizza company in their 30s and 40s. And I'm going to tell you about another experience where I almost died. Because I was on a moped at some point, because my dad finally paid $300. I wanted this Carmen Ghia that was at the base. He wasn't going to pay for the car. My manager used to let me use his car, which was a stick shift. I was burning that clutch up. I'm so sorry. I mean, I didn't know how to drive a stick shift. I just kept reading a book, and then I learned how to drive a stick shift. I love it now, but I don't have a stick shift right now. Sorry about the Winn-Dixie noise, because I got nothing to do with that. YouTube, leave me alone. So anyway, there's these 30, 40-year-old men that clearly must have had children my age that were like, oh girl, let me see that, let me see this, let me see that. You know, they just were constantly inappropriate. And at the time, it's very flattering, because it's like, I got this power over these older men. Alright, nowadays, you go to prison. So, give me a second, I'm going to stop this real quick. Alright. Woo, finally getting some faux soup in my system at 8:20 at night. So much later than when we got it. Let me turn this off, because I don't want to get a copyright violation for the fact that I got some video game on my tablet that's making music. And shut up. That's Hempire. As in empire, but with an H, because you're growing weed. And for the record, no, I'm not a weed person. I've just never used it. It's not my thing. I always got randomly drug screened at all my jobs, because I was an EMT, firefighter, paramedic, all that. So anyway, I'm making this clip because I'm looking through my clips right now, trying to get organized. I just recovered some videos, so now I got to get them back in order. Just realized I didn't finish the story about how I almost died when I was working at Domino's Pizza at like 15. I was probably 15 years old then. I had my moped. Went up there to pick up my paycheck one night. It wasn't that far from my house. And mind you, this moped only did like 32 miles an hour max. So I had to ride on the side of the road. I had people throw eggs at me. I had people try to run me off the road. I mean, it was treacherous, because there's not a big shoulder on the road where that area is. That Domino's is no longer there. We went through several managers. I got hired by one. Then we had another one that was like an assistant manager, and he was highly inappropriate. And we used to do this thing called door hangers, where you would take, we would go out for hours, and I mean to the country even, I mean like trailers way out, nothing to do with trailers, but just way out, where you had to like literally walk up to people's houses. I got stung by wasps underneath people's mailboxes, and we would put the hanging door coupons on. They don't do that really anymore here. So anyway, regardless, then we went to a third manager, and I was sad that the first one left, even though a couple times he was like, yeah, come to my house, pick up the door hangers, because he had boxes of them at his house. Mind you, I was like 14, 15 years old, and this 30-year-old man would just open the door and have his underwear on, and that's it. So stuff was crazy. But anyway, we had probably a third or a fourth manager that came to this store, because they just kept getting promoted or transferring to different areas, or they moved, you know, whatever. The last manager that I had was extremely religious. I feel like I got witch hair right here. I can feel it. Stubble. Anyway, very, very religious man, very much a family man, sweetest man I had ever met in my life. And I went to Domino's one night to pick up a paycheck, just because I hadn't picked up earlier, because hey, I'm a teenager and I was working at McDonald's as well, like I said. And it'll be in the video if you didn't see it yet. But basically, just went up there. I would order myself a small pizza with triple cheese, banana peppers, and double bacon. That was my thing. And I would eat that whole thing by myself, and that's a lot. So I would just, you know, when you're young, you can do that. So, mind you, again, I'm probably about 15. And I went up there about 9:30, maybe 9 to 10 at night, somewhere in there. On a weeknight, when we got paid, which was like a Thursday, I believe, there weren't many calls, and you didn't have a lot of orders, so they generally would just cut the drivers down as the night got slower. So there was only one driver, maybe two, that were working. And I don't even remember his name at this point, but I severely hope the man is sitting still in prison, if not on death row. And I'll tell you why. Give me a second. Sorry, y'all, I can't see. All right, I'm going to pause this. All right, y'all, I'm back. Sorry. I didn't realize, like I said, I couldn't recover all the videos, so some of the stuff is kind of chopped up, and I didn't realize that I didn't finish the story. And I really wasn't even traumatized by this, but it was just a very sad incident. So basically, I was up there at like 9 or 10 at night, which was not uncommon. There were other girls there that worked at 14 years old. Yes, the men were acting inappropriate here and there, but this manager was severely nice. So I went up there to get myself a pizza as well as get my paycheck. And it was like 9 to 10 at night. Like I said, I used to be this latchkey kid that could do whatever. So I was about 15 years old. And, I don't even remember his name, and I feel bad for that. But I think I know it, but I'm not going to put it out there. Anyway, showed up there, went on the moped. It was only like maybe 2 miles from my house. Got my paycheck, signed the log, waited for my pizza to be made, you know, because when you work there, pretty much I wasn't paying for the pizza. I just wanted this super special pizza that I always got, triple cheese, double bacon, and banana peppers. And I sat in the office, literally, eating most of this pizza. Loaded the rest of it on the back of my scooter and took my happy butt back home. Okay, I had seen this driver come in and out a couple times because literally there was only maybe one driver, if not two, and then I think they just cut it down to one. So he was kind of new, not super new, but you know, we'd worked a few months, and the manager was in the office, which is, you know, kind of in the back of the store. He was doing all of the bookkeeping stuff that you have to do. And the driver basically just comes in and out, and I may have even made a pizza or two just off the clock just to help them out. So he ran back, made the pizza, manager was making pizzas, and it really was not that busy. Okay, I'm trying to figure how I want to put this order of this story. So anyway, I saw the driver come in and out a couple times, and I'm sitting on the desk, literally with my feet dangling, because I'm short. I'm 5'6", and I'm kicking my feet and eating this pizza. And then I'm like, all right, thanks for the check. I'm out of here. Have a good night. I left because I'm not even on the clock. I wasn't even working that day. And this is late at night, and I had school the next day. The next day, I got pulled out of class and called to the principal's office. Well, I never got in trouble, so I was like, what's going on? And pretty much it was some deputies that pulled me out of class. And they were like, where were you last night at this time? And I was like, I stopped to get my paycheck and a pizza. And they were like, who was there with you? And I named the people, my manager and the driver. And they were like, what do you know about him? And I'm like, I don't really know much about him at all. I mean, he's kind of new. He's only been here a couple months. So then they basically proceeded to drill me, and I was getting drilled, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sweating because I'm like this double honor roll student. Like, why did y'all pull me out of class? What is going on? I was in high school. I want to say, because remember, I graduated at 17, so I want to say I was either in 10th or 11th grade. they basically grilled the hell out of me. And I was like, what? You know, I just picked up a paycheck, picked up a pizza, I ate it in the office. What was the manager doing? All this other stuff. Okay, well, turns out my manager was murdered right after I left. And I mean right after. This driver, and or with a friend, I don't know if he was by himself, decided, because the manager is doing all the counting, you know, the bookkeeping and counting up the money for the whole day. Super religious man, very sweet man. There was no reason to murder him. He would have given you the money if you'd have just said, hey, we got to rob you because I need money. I don't know what they had going on because, again, I was a teenager. But apparently they came into the office, and this kind of sort of ended my career at Domino's. Not that I was scared, but they had to close the place down to clean it up and OSHA and all that other stuff. Apparently these fools came in, and I believe it was the driver who called his friend and was like, yeah, she's gone. There's only one person here, blah, blah, blah. And they must have planned this out. They brought a shotgun in and legitimately blew his head off. And for what? I mean, they may have gotten like a couple $100. That was like the weirdest thing ever to me. So that somebody would take another person's life, especially this super Christian man that would have given you the money, even if he was like, well, this is really wrong, you shouldn't do it. He would have given you the whole money, everything in the safe, and more than whatever you took off with, because you only got what he had out on the desk at the time. The rest of the money was in the safe. So I don't know, maybe they had a drug habit or something else going on, I don't know. But they legitimately, and I don't know which one of them did it, came in there with a shotgun and blew the man's head off. I believe he had 4 kids or maybe 5. So you just took away a father from children. Only got away with maybe a couple $100. You're a driver. You're already getting tips because back then you got cash tips. And for what? You could have come on with the gun and just been like, hey, hand us the money, and he would have given it to you. You could have been like, come in there and been like, hey, give the money. But that's yet another incident of where I was very young and I could have died, and I didn't. And that just occurred to me because while I'm filming, these things like pop back in my head. I don't really think about them. You know, obviously it's been years and years and years. But it's just crazy, man. Don't kill people over money. I mean, seriously, it's just, oh, anyway. There was no reason to do that. And I'm just thankful that I was not a part of the situation, and that they, for some reason, decided to wait until I left to do it, but I'm greatly saddened that they took this man's life. Anyway, McDonald's, totally different situation. I mean, back in the day, y'all got these food warmers. You put burgers in the bins and buns on the... No. That's not how it worked way back when I did it and back in the 90s. You literally had to cook 10 bottoms of the buns in the big pan to go in the toaster, and then the top separately in another toaster. You had to cook the buns on the grill separately. We had to scrape the grill constantly. You didn't have this food warmer holding stuff. Y'all got it easy today. Y'all don't even know. I ain't mad at y'all because I like that food, but I'm just saying, y'all don't even know. Alright, so I'm gonna go back. Well, there was a point where a particular employee at Domino's caught my eye. Yes, a white guy. Instead of everyone calling you Jen, Jennifer, Jenny, which I hate the name Jenny. Forrest Gump movie. I can't stand it. He used to just call me by the very last part of my name, which was Fur. F-E-R. last part is Jennifer. We met up, and he had a roommate, and I was about 14, 15. He was about 27, 28. Okay, I was just like hooked. So from that day, I liked older men. Very good guy, very sweet, very nice. He used to take me and my friends and drop us off at different places. Give us a ride. I would just be like, hey, can you let me use your car? Can you let me do this? Can you do that? All right, so he was a good guy, but I will tell you, you go to prison for that nowadays. I ain't mad at him. I ain't gonna name him because honestly, I didn't have a problem with it. I was, like I said, ahead of my age, and he was a very good guy. And he would try to watch out for us, but he would also do things for us, like buy us wine coolers, which clearly at 14, 15 years old, you should not be doing. There used to be a club here called, I believe it was Out something. I can't think of the name. It's a very long time ago. It was for people up to 18. So this is going to be the video about when your girl started a riot in the club. Because I didn't do it yet. Give me a second. Clip.